Good morning. Oh, of course I can't see chat as soon as I did that. So this is gonna be a little different. We had a few call outs for the weekly EDH streams, so instead we are gonna do some deck tech streams because I get a decent amount of questions in regards to my decks, why this, why that, why who, so we're gonna just unload it all now, and yeah, I think that's the easiest way to do it. It's the most fun way to do it. I need to pull up chat, obviously. If someone has a question live, I have no current ability to answer that. But yeah, Alexa, game light on. There it is. I was looking at myself. I'm like, it's dark on the stream. So yeah, I'm gonna do Teval first because I think that's the most convoluted deck I have. I really don't think there's an A to B on that one. It's just full throttle all the time. I'm trying to get the chat open. Again, I can't see. Oh, just figured it out somehow. I don't know how this crap works, man. Can I drag it out? But yeah, so we're gonna start with Teval, Arbiter of Virtue. I'll be putting timestamps as normal. Okay, chat's working over there. That's good enough for me. So I think we're gonna go through a few things. Obviously, we're gonna go through the deck list itself, but I think we're also going to try to go over a few different scenarios in the deck. PP video squad, doing a live stream solo, going over deck tech for Teval, Arbiter of Virtue, and whatever the heck else y'all want. Cool. Yeah, so with that being said, I think we'll just get right into it. Where should I be for this? Here? There? Probably there. Yeah, so Teval, again, this is my most trafficked deck by a long shot. It absolutely gets the most in questions. I get the most comments on this. So Teval makes spells cost less. He costs a decent amount himself, but he makes spells cost less, and you hurt yourself when you're playing any spell after Teval. So immediately for me, I want to do the dumbest thing possible, which in this case, the end goal is to set everyone's life total to 0. But you win the game because you have a Platinum Angel out where you can't lose the game, but your opponents can. So you set everyone's life total to 0 while yours is at 0. You win the game. Platinum Angel in a deck like this, again, Teval makes everything cost 1 less. It's Delve. Platinum Angel costs nothing. So free Plat Angel, Repaying Kind costs us 2 black. So these are the things we're thinking about. We need 7 cards in the graveyard of this, 5 cards to this. So how do we freaking load the yard? There's 1,000 different ways. I did load up Tabletop and I have the deck loaded. I think I'm gonna also just randomly play through the first 5 turns and see if I can win, because it's happened a lot and I think there's a good possibility of that. Anyway, these are the cards I'm testing right now. I think they'll stick, but Drown in Dreams just doubles our graveyard. So if you control your commanders, you cast both instead. Obviously, we're only casting this with the Teval out, but specifically, it's only costing us 1 blue, and it's allowing us to mill twice X. So let's say X is 4, which we mill 6 cards from the yard to do. X is 4, we're gonna mill 8, draw 4. So we're 12 deeper when we started with 6. So already doing pretty okay. And no matter what X is gonna, if X is 5, we're milling 10 cards and it's costing us 7. If we're milling 4 cards, it's costing, if we're milling 8 cards, it's costing us 6. We're always gonna be up on that, and we get to draw additional cards. And in a deck like this, or at least how I've built the deck, it is very, 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 very much your hand and graveyard are the same exact thing. So a card like Gift Ungiven, like when this is finally released from hell, was a blessing and a half. Search a library for 4 cards, essentially. Like, easy peas. Love this card to death. There is another card like it that just puts them directly into the graveyard, but I like Gifts Ungiven more. So the whole goal with this deck is we spend the first... We want to get Teval out early, and ideally we get Teval out with protection. Those are kind of complicated hills, because you never want to like raw dog a Teval out on like turn 4 and have absolutely no way of protecting it, like Fierce Guardianship, off your game for your Swan delay, sink. So even if I have the mana for Teval, I'm probably playing him on turn 5. I'm still ramping, but my turn 5 is going to turn into protection and Teval. Instead of just turn 4 Teval. So turn 4 can just be spent with more setup. I mean, there are times where I ramp so hard that I can just like breach the multiverse on turn 4. And then, yeah. Savala testing in here. I'll just go over the testing cards real quick. Savala is just simply because 6 mana is, in any combination we want, is pretty unbeatable and turns what like would be like a hard math turn into pretty much nothing. You add 6 mana with Teval and you pretty much win the game. Trinisphere is more to shut down other people. It's free on the combo turns, and it will really stick it to somebody who's held up 1, 2, 3 mana or Fierce Guardianship or whatever the heck. And most of our stuff on Go is well above the 3 mana mark, so it doesn't really affect us. Tidal Barracudas, kind of same. It costs us 1 blue. This would also be a ish example of protecting Teval, but yeah, no one can cast stuff on your turn. Obviously, we don't have access to white, so this effect is welcomed. Coveted Jewel, same theory as Savala. It costs us 6 cards out of the yard to gain 3 mana and draw 3 cards. So it's kind of a push in terms of what you're getting. You're really only casting this on the go turn. And probably for black, you'll be tapping this for, but it's on a go turn, that's ridiculous. Or Awakener, just 1 mana gets us 3 cards onto the battlefields. And with this deck, what you're like permanent wise, what you'll be flipping over is probably gonna push you in the right direction. So assuming you're keeping a hand with like 1, 2, 3 of these ramp cards, you probably won't be flipping one of those, and instead it'll be this and enchantments. Like there's just, it's positive, but still, you know, maybe. Notably though, that the permanents don't come into play tapped, so it could potentially just ramp us into a beautiful way. Got this question before: Ground Chunk and Dirtbag over whatever the Praetor is. Only because it costs 2 less than the Praetor, and I want to mill as, you know, I don't. This is very mana positive in this deck, but I also don't want to over mill from my graveyard. Let's kind of go over how we fill the graveyard, because that's kind of the entirety of the deck and how we really need that to happen. First off is the boy Hermit Druid. You get this out on turn 2, you pretty much never have to, like, people need to snipe this thing when you play it, but you pretty much never need to worry about your graveyard size. Again, we have 4, 6. We have 6 basics, so even if you mill 5, again, in a deck like Teval, you can look that as gaining 5 mana off 1 tap. So I do kind of count it as ramp. And when we're actually like going, Incarnation Technique is milling us 10 cards. Dark Petition and where is it? And Behold the Beyond allow us to tutor whatever we want. Behold specifically discards our entire hand, so it's more cards in the yard. But finding any card we want can easily turn into increasing confusion, which if this is in our graveyard just doubles the size of our graveyard. Target player mills X cards. Spells cast from a graveyard, that player's mills twice X instead. So we're just flashbacking this from our yard, obviously, and then there's also an argument for just casting this for blue just to get it in the graveyard, because it costs the same amount except it's going to mill us twice X. So it literally doubles the graveyard. We have 6 cards in the graveyard. Let's say we have 7 cards in the graveyard, including this. I custom yard, get rid of all 6 cards. I'm milling 12. So it's literally doubles the size of our graveyard, which, yeah, we like to say the least. Obviously, gifts for 1 blue mana is finding us 4 cards that could just win us the game. We went over Drown in Dreams. We also have a lot of these enchantments. So Out of the Tomb is milling us 3. Nightmare and Daydreams I like a lot. I'll go over that in a second. Ripples, Chronic Flooding. You're really only keeping a hand. Doom Whisperer is a classic. Just for as many as you can totally play with your life total, but for as much life as you have, that's twice that many cards in the graveyard. Bear in mind you don't kill yourself. What are you doing? Oh, apologies. I am just waking up. Malevolent Rumble is ramping us and putting more cards in the yard. A lot of lovely ways of doing it. And I'll go over like a major point of it in a second, but a lot of it is you can search for anything. This deck has a lot of tutors, a lot of way of accessing the tutors. We went over Beholds, we went over Dark Petition, Gifts Ungiven, but we're milling a crap ton of cards, and more importantly, we have Leer, which allows us to cast cards for its splashback cost. We have a Snapcaster Mage in here. We have a crap ton of forms of protection to make sure we can actually get those things off, or counter, or whatever the heck else. But this deck can find a lot of its tools very, very fast, so we have a decent amount of recursion in it. Let me pull up type again. Obviously the classic Reanimate, went over Leer, went over Snapcaster Mage. We also have, where the heck is it? So we cast it for a different cost pretty much every single time, so I never actually memorized the cost of some of these. Am I blind? It is not an instant. That's why I cannot find it. Balaged Recovery, Dryad's Revival. Dryad's Revival in the grave only costs 1. It costs 1 green pretty much both times. Balaged Recovery in pretty much any green deck is a smart inclusion. And like I said, we have Snapcaster, we have Leer, so let's say we mill our Dryads, the Dryad can get us a creature we need, or a Platinum Angel, or whatever. Oh, we have Snapcaster Mage to cast Dryads to cast Platinum Angel. Yeah, like I said, I'll probably try to go over a few scenarios. So Nightmares and Daydreams from ATLA, and this card is dirt cheap because it won't be used in pretty much any other deck. But until your next turn, whenever you cast a sorcery spell, target player mills cards equal to that spell's mana value. We love this. We will never get here. I didn't even read this, to be honest, but this costs 1 blue mana on a go turn to essentially fill our graveyard. Our go turn can be literally like 4 cards in the graveyard, which is kind of crazy. So you can look at it as mill in like the mill section, because it's indirectly, well, it's directly milling us, but it indirectly allows us to forego a lot of those steps. So if I open with this in my opening hand, I am probably keeping that hand because this deck casts a lot of instants and sorceries, as you can see. And so when I cast the Hex of Undeath or Breach the Multiverse of Behold, I would love to mill 7 cards. I would love to spend 5 cards out of the yard to put 7 more cards in it. You know, if there was always that kind of fluid exchange, this deck would win every single game. But right now there's a little bit of math you got to do, but it's pretty easy to put together. Another situation that this deck, well, obviously besides being mana starved, but you will find yourself a lot of the times calculating over and over again, how can I possibly get to this mana? So ground chunk and dirtbag. Spend 4 cards to double up your mana for the rest of the turn. Again, incredible. But where's that wipe? I just saw it. See, this is type. I need to probably fix those tags a little bit. But culling ritual. When you're going, you don't need your mana dorks anymore. You don't need Snapcaster Mage after it's cast. If this is in the yard, you can probably win any game from whatever position, just simply off the fact that other people commit to the board with 2 and less frequently. And we are one of the few decks that really doesn't need them once they're used. Once I tap a talisman, again, on a go turn, meaning you're gonna win the game, I don't need all of this crap. So even if you get like 4 or 5 mana off this, that's usually enough. So I think I can go over a little example. Yeah, why not? Let's just pull a random hand. This has untapped, this is birds, this is Trinisphere. This is no ways of milling, and it's actually quite awkward. If this was Mez Orb, this would be a snap keep. So right now we're 1. A turn 2 Trinisphere really does absolutely nothing. Yeah, I don't think you're keeping this hand. Although this Conch Sphinx is nice, but turn 5 at the earliest right now. That's not quite good. Again, kind of just 1 minute. If that was Ball Again Recovery, it'd be a keepable, because I do that turn 1, turn 2, Felwar Stone, turn 3, Savala, or even any combination of Chronic Flooding on turn 3, followed by Savala. Dang. Yeah. Sometimes you just miss. I think we can keep this hands. It doesn't look that great, but we do put cards in the yard, and we do get a Greaves out to protect Teval, so we can run it out turn 4, turn 5, like I was saying, as long as it has protection on it. I like to do it. So we'll just quickly kind of run through this. It is unfortunate we don't have a green for that. Oh, there it is. Never punished. So we're gonna run this out. We're gonna grab a forest. I don't know, you name it, of usable forest. For the sake, we'll just take breeding pool. Tap draw. Savala. I think this Savala might make this an absolute joke, actually, now I'm thinking about it, but let's see how it plays out. Untap a draw. So we have access to a heck of a whole lot. Savala can tap herself. She's +1 right now, because she taps for 2, but it takes a green to put into her. So you're probably just doing Teval here. Or maybe not. We don't have any cards in the yard. This Windfall's also looking quite good. All this stuff in the yard is totally fine, as long as we can put 4 more cards in the yard. We get to roll the dice. But Savala does produce 6. Coveted Jewel is 6 more. Or, sorry, 3 more. But so this is basically free the following turn. Can we win the following turn? I think there is an argument for that, because we do have a Behold the Beyond. We have 6 mana from Savala. Screw it. We'll try a turn 5 win. If we can't, we can't. That's fine. But Teval immediately being protected. We need a Trek Life in this deck. Oops. It should be 35. Okay. So he's out. Great. He's protected. Draw him for my following turn. I'm probably... This is turn 5. We have access to 6 mana here. We need one of our big mill plays. So, like I said, all the cards that like double the size of our graveyard. This might be a Drown in Dreams pull, to be honest. Incarnation technique is pointless because the stuff we're discarding are not creatures right now. Out the tombs, all that we don't need. Breach the multiverse also isn't too bad. We can get a full breach off this turn if we wanted to run that way. But I'm just trying to see if we can win this turn. No cards in yard. It needs to be the first solve. So no cards in yard. Well, I say no. We'll have six cards in yard. Well, 7 with beholds. So what's 3 cards in what combination? Again, no creatures, so incarnation technique is not even something we're looking at. It could, actually, it does mill us 10 cards. But we would use 5 for that, so, We're gonna be dishing this one to cast the beholds, even though we get 6 from this. I just wanna free things up. Might be a turn 6. We can easily win this game. I want to see if we can win it by turn. Yeah. Drown it. I think it's time we test out this Drown in Dreams. If I'm being so for real. Drown in Dreams. We'll have 6 cards in the yard. Yeah, I think that is the play, and maybe one of these. Maybe a Drown in Dreams Hermit Druid angle. We can't discard the increasing confusion, although we can do that thing I said. We could pay for it. And increasing ambition in the yard also is 2 more cards from the graveyard that we get to find. But yeah, I pretty much want to fill the graveyard and fill my hands. So Drown in Dreams for sure. And this is the part of calculations that I was trying to tell you guys about. That really makes it just kind of a headache. I think we're gonna find Nightmare and Daydreams, a Drown in Dreams. Because this is whenever you cast a spell and you announce you're casting a spell, the trigger goes on the stack, then you pay for it. So you can use the cards. I don't know. But you have to do. You can't use the cards in this to delve, is what I'm trying to say. I think I said that backwards, but you know, trying to get at. And maybe we find a Leer. Well, next turn we're just trying to win the game, right? So we're actually going to find a Dark Petition. Dark Petition finds us increasing ambition. Increasing ambition finds us 3 separate cards, or it finds us Gifts Ungiven. Or it finds us a Leer to recast Behold the Beyond. You see now where all of the freaking headache comes from. But 2 things are for certain. We're finding Drown in Dreams or finding Nightmare and Daydreams. I think we're going to also find the Dark Petition just to sit on it. So we'll go tap, tap. We have 6 here. It's cost 7. I think I am going to play this Forest too, just to keep that out. But this taps for 7. We're gonna cast Behold with no care in the world for the other cards in our hand, I don't think. Yeah, just gonna Behold, so we're gonna put 4 up, and including this 5. We're gonna find that Drown in Dreams that I was telling you about. This is a really good testing for Drown in Dreams, though. I'll say that. That definitely got a crap ton of points. Let me organize by type here. Nightmare and Daydreams. I don't know why. I always forget what the name of that card is, because it's not really any ATL related. So, Behold the Beyond lets us find 3 cards. We're going to find 3 cards. And we can't win this turn, but it's set up, right? So we have 6 cards in our graveyard. And we have the ability to play Nightmare and Daydreams, of which we will take without, again, tapping for any more. Let's go 7 here. Nightmare and Daydreams. Go 10 total lost. And we're just sitting behind that right now. So not a go, just set up. This is turn 5. We can attack if we really want to plus. It doesn't really matter. Probably you're not attacking because people are going to see that you have set up and you're probably going to win this turn. So you most likely will never get that off. Or the 6 you gain will not be worth the whatever you lose. is more what I meant. Apologies. We definitely meet the conditions for Dark Petition to have float 3 black, so it costs us 2 black to float 3 black and find a whole other card. This card is OP as heck. So we want to win this turn, so we're gonna play our swamp. Swamp in the hand versus swamp on the field is the same. It's a push, so you might as well keep the permanent amount of cards. All right, 25 health. We really need to start tracking that, but I think we have 5 from Dark Petition. It'll cost us 7 for that. Yeah, this is where we need to math, and it's not quick. So float 6 on it again. Goated card. You can do it any combination. We have no protection, I will say that. So there is a vulnerability I am seeing here, obviously. It's in any combination of colors, but for the sake of it, we'll just put 6 there. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, sure. Dark Petition will lose 5. This will gain us 3 here, and we get to search for a card. I could pull from my graveyard, but I'm trying to have that be a Drown in Dreams. Do I want it to be Leer? Leer would cost us 2 blue. Can Leer win us the game? Or does it need to be a Snapcaster Mage? This is what oh, by the way, when we cast that, we mill 5. 1, that'll change the answer. 2, 3, 4, 5, thanks to this lovely puppy. Okay, so a few things here. We have the ability to get protection, so I can find an Incarnation Technique or Reanimate. Not that I freaking would spend all of my crap on getting that, but we could do it. We have so much mana right now, and 12 in the yard. Dark Petition. I mean, Snapcaster into Behold. Behold finds us Plat Angel. We have a Drown in the Dreams to double the yard. Yeah, I think that is easily. So we're going Snapcaster. So thing you need to think about, obviously, is protecting. Get the lay of the land, get the vibe. No one can interact with the Teval, so that's not a worry. This is more counter magic I'm referring to. Again, this is all happening turn 5. So are people committing to their boards turn 5? Are they tapped out? Are they holding up blue specifically for you? Changes how you approach it. In this case, I'm just going to try to show you how this deck can win. And that's that. So we will just spend the 2/2. We're going to obviously flash back. Behold the Beyond. Or have it's until the end of the turn. Oh, no, it's not. I have to do it right now. So sorry. So I need to think if I want to Drown in Dreams before then. I really gains flash. Oh, until end of turn. Yeah, I'm not dumb. I was like, I think I thought I was losing my mind. So then we really need to calculate. So we need to cast Platinum Angel free, and we need to cast, we need the ability to cast Repay in Kind, which is 2 black. So we really only need 2 black floating when all is said and done. Obviously we need 2 black to cast this, and we need 1 blue to cast this. So we're looking at 2, 2, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we are more than over. We're good. This can cover Repay in Kind and a Behold, and this solo can cover the Drown in Dreams. So I think we're going to send a big Drown in Dreams now, because there's nothing in our yard we're concerned about right now. As in, we just don't really, I mean, we can afford to keep that in the yard. We can probably afford to keep this, but obviously every land is free. Coveted Jewel is free in the yard. Yeah, I think the Veil in Summer is actually probably like really cheeky and something we can keep out and ready. But for all intents and purposes, we're sending a big. So we'll tap 1. Keep track of your life total too. Actually, that's a fairly fine point. So repay in kind when it comes down doesn't matter. We need to do... Oh, that is tight. Because you need a Behold and you need a Plat Angel. When the Plat Angel is on the field, everything is fine. Obviously, we can't lose the game. Behold is going to cost us 7 life. So that puts 11. We get 4 health to play with, essentially, with this Drowning Dream. So X would be 1. Still may be worth it when we have a Nightmare and Daydreams here. Because we do need some extra zhuzh in the yard. But that does certainly complicates what happens here. But Behold the Beyond could always find another... I only said 2 cards in that combo, where Repay in Kind and the Plat Angel. This Behold is also going to mill 7. Again, benefit of Nightmare and Daydreams. Okay, so we're just good to full send on the Beholds, and we'll keep... You also have access to 6 more life here on an attack, by the way. Assuming everyone doesn't have 6 damage worth of flyers. Or like a Settle the Wreckage on turn 5. So let's, for cushion's sake, let's give us 6 more life. We need 14 for the Plat Angel, so we can work with 9. So X can be 6 to be safe. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 go bye-bye. And this is what happens a lot, by the way, in paper too. You have to freaking calculate. This is our yard, but we took those out because we would never use them. Same with Behold the Beyond. We are going to send a Drowning Dreams for 6. So we're going to mill 12 and we're going to draw 6. And we are going to take 9 life. 15, yeah, this, lovely. And, you know, whatever happened. So... I should, actually this is all milled. I was being irresponsible. What you do is you mill 9 first, so that's 6. Then you draw 3. Or sorry, 6. And then we mill 12. So yeah, all of a sudden we have 26 cards in the yard from 1 Drowning Dreams. And obviously you're seeing that we can easily win the game here. So we'll cast Behold. I'm just gonna pick random freaking cards at this point. You need to make sure Plat Angel and whatnot isn't in here, by the way. You need to make sure what you're finding is not in here, because if it is in here, it changes what you're tutoring. Luckily, this deck has so many different ways of coming back. Like Platinum Angel's in here, you have Incarnation Technique, Reanimate. If a spell is in here you have Leer the Discipled on top of your Snapcaster Mage. If you need more mana, we have access to Coveted Jewel via like Balaged Recovery and Dryad's Revival. We also have more tutors here that we just drew. We also have a free mana with the rocks. So I've won games by finding a rock. So let me just pull out, it's going to be 5 cards, and we are definitely dipping by 7. I like keeping interaction in the yard. Certainly Heatron Crab is not something we will find. And again, Dark Ritual from Leer the Discipled is Omega. So 5 cards, bye-bye. And we are casting Behold the Beyond. On cast, we mill 7. So I'm just going to make sure what's being milled here. Okay. And we will discard an entire hand. And we'll find 3 cards. So obviously yard, not an issue anymore. And you're seeing kind of the power of Nightmare and Daydream. So we're going to find Plat Angel. Is this going to be embarrassing? Is it in here? Did I miss it? Oh, I did. Okay. So Plat Angel milled. We find Incarnation Technique. Everything will be less than Plat Angel. So the fact that Plat Angel's in the yard, obviously Beholds, I think I also, yeah, Behold is also in here, I think. This is the hard part about it. In paper, you just, no, not Beholds. That's, it's nervous doing this on a live stream. This is obviously way easier if I'm pre-recording this. Repay in Kind is gonna be one of them. And now just figure out protections. We can win with these 2 solo, so I'm not concerned about that. But I just throw in like a spice of protection. What it really, whatever the deck has left. If you need more mana, also Frantic Search turns 1 blue mana into 3 open. You have the Culling Ritual, as I mentioned before. So we have all these other ways if, you know, a calculation goes wrong or some way. We have plenty of ways of Harrow costs 1 green, sacrifices a land to get 2 more untapped. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of whatever the heck you want. Lear makes it so stuff can't be countered. In addition to flashbacking your like Veil Summer, whatever the heck, she obviously does a heck of a lot for women's equality. You can get a Sylvan Safekeeper, so sure, whatever, that works. So those are going to be our 3 finds. This is turn 5. I usually need to keep reminding people of that. We're gonna throw out the Sylvan first because we're trying to not find, but we're trying to get this Platinum Angel. That costs us, oh, no, I'm mathing right. Costs us 1 health. And we're gonna play Incarnation Technique. On cast, we mill 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As part of cost, sorry, we don't mill first. But as part of cost, I'm just gonna get rid of things I don't care about. You can always potentially care about these things, so I usually just keep them to the side. Deathrite Shaman, sure, don't care. We also have a flashback find, whatever. This deck does everything it ever needs forever for the rest of time, always, and it's so resilient. And I didn't really even show the kind of stuff I would be doing if my opponents did have answers, but this happening on turn 5 makes it a little ridiculous. You give one of your opponents the opportunity to bring something back from the dead, who cares? So we're gonna lose 5, and obviously we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as part of what it says, mill 5 cards and return a creature. We are gonna return Platinum Angel. What? Yeah. I don't think a Leer went here, so you can go Ground Chunk. Tidal Barracuda would really just kind of on your second one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would seal the deal. No one can cast stuff, and you have a Platinum Angel out. You're on 2. How are we going to lose 2 life? Well, we cast this. We can't lose the game. Mill 5 cards. Obviously, you drop below 0. Exile 5 cards to cast it. Sure. And then we're going to mill 7. Again, Nightmare and Daydreams turns this whole deck into a joke. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't really matter. We have 47 cards. We have 18 cards left in our deck. This is turn 5, and we're not even like this is not really the purpose of the deck. We have 0 life. We set everyone's life total to 0. Game. Obviously, with interactions, some decisions. That was turn 5 win. And we really didn't have much. We had a Drown in Dreams, we had Beholds, we had a Selvala. But Power of Nightmare and Daydreams there for sure. Like we could have done quite a lot more things, just in general. But obviously we have 47 cards. This is 47 mana essentially. But yeah, just kind of showing you how to maximize with this deck. One thing I learned too is like Snapcaster Mage, I cast for 2 raw. I didn't exile card. I learned that when Nightmare and Daydreams is out, this is my first time like really. I've played with it like 4 or 5 times, mostly because I don't play this deck very much because it wins like this. But I've learned that you could just, it doesn't matter. Everything you just pay the 1. Like we would have, I think 2 mana up. Because I hard paid for a few things when obviously we have plenty of mana left over in the deck. So if they were threatening things to kill my commander, well, first they would need to kill Lightning Greaves, so not really that concerned, so that's a poor example. But if they had counter magic, Leer is probably the first thing I try to find. Fierce Guardianship, obviously wonderful, an offer you can't refuse. This is stuff, these are all things you would find in the tutors. So because the deck has tutors on tutors on tutors, and as you can see, we basically have seen our entire deck. We've seen all but 18 cards. Because the deck has tutors on tutors on tutors, like I said, who cares? And by who cares, I mean like just get whatever form of protection you would deem necessary in that moment. Veil of Summer is always one of my favorites because it's all the way until end of turn. They can't destroy any stuff. Black and blue stuff is usually they can't counter anything. There's just so when a Leer is out, especially, you win the game. So Leer finding is very good simply because they can't counter anything, and you can always respond to someone destroying your stuff with a counter spell from the yard. Also in mind, like let's say we stalled out here for whatever reason. Let's say we had, I don't know, we had Repaying Kind in hands, we had that 2 mana back, and we had 11 health, whatever. Let's say this was our stall out, and it's the reason it's a stall out is because when I cast Repaying Kind, my life total will be 4. Setting everyone's life total to 4 is not exactly winning the game. So we stalled out here. We have a few flashback cards in the deck that make this. I know a Dryad's Revival's in here. Yep, that's from the yard. This lets us find any single card in a yard for 1 green. Obviously, the next thing we cast, we need to be mana conscious, but that next thing from the yard can be or Awakener if you feel like being really spicy. You would need to know what cards are in your deck. But more importantly, Frantic Search. I thought I could have sworn we milled one of those. Or did I take it out hastily when I was just like not caring what I put in here? Oh no, it's in the deck. But you can find mana from this. So we can find a Coveted Jewel. So like, let's say we stalled out here. We Dryad's Revival from the yard, which, by the way, you're taking 3. And all of a sudden you've solved the stall problem that exiles it. And we get rid of 4 more cards, but there's just gonna be lands. Not Walk the Ions. Sure. Whatever. We stall out there. People can't cast stuff. I put Coveted Jewel in my hand. We can't lose the game, so I'm not really caring about what happens. I mill 6. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I was supposed to mill all 3 of these from the other thing. Doesn't matter. My point is, there are ways of finding mana in the deck when you really need it. You love in the deck? Titan? Deck Tech. Yeah. Hi. Yes, I love the deck. I just showed how this deck can win from nothing on turn 5 very, very easily. Hi, Alex. I put Spaghetti Monster in. Real nasty stuff. Oh, Eldrazi. Yeah, I don't really care about that because we're just trying to win right now. This is turn 5. And I also showed with like, if randomly we stalled out health-wise, the stuff we can do, or we stalled out mana-wise. Like, the fact that this wasn't even a tight turn 5 win, it just requires a lot of thinking. So, yeah, going over a bunch of this deck real quick. Blood Chief's Ascension. This is really here, kind of like a Soul Ring in a deck. If you get this out on turn 1, I don't know. You could probably win any game with this out on turn 1. This is not, first of all, the quest is really not hard to achieve. But this just makes everything a joke. This card is OP as heck. And I'm just going over mid-range options that aren't, like, you may question why they're in the deck, and I would understand why. 6 is also kind of mid-rangey, but this comes down before Teval. It's more in the mill side of things. Doom Whisperer speaks for itself in a deck like this. This says pay 2 life, get 2 colorless mana, essentially. And obviously you can fix the top of your deck if you do have a draw that you want. This is a card that's kind of on the fence for me. Impending is nice. You cast it on turn 2 and you get to mill 4 cards. And that has been relevant. But I don't know. This and Conch Sphinx might find their way out just because they're very, very mid-rangey, and there's not a lot of times where I have Teval and I have nothing to do. I have no way of winning the game. This deck can win the game from a freaking shoelace. So I don't really need the mid-range portions of Conch Sphinx. I'm not forcing other people to draw either to like really dig. So those 2 are probably cuts coming up soon to be replaced with probably just more resilience in any sort of way. Cards we've cut recently are also in the mid-range section: Profane, Wormcoil, Head Shredder. Traumatize only because it costs 2 blue. It is nice to mill half our library, but as you saw from Adrenaline Dreams and Nightmare and Daydreams, really unnecessary. Head Shredder sounds nice in theory, but we actually do want the lands in the yard because this puts it onto the battlefield tap. So this is kind of a trap card. Too many pips for those two. Yeah, pips is the biggest thing in this deck. You'll notice a lot of cuts involve multiple pips. Barrelglyph is more a mid-range card, and Barrelglyph any turn that isn't turn 2 or 3 is not a card I want to see. Because we just won on turn 5, as you saw. And that was from a box of scraps. It is really not hard to win very, very fast. So a lot of mid-range cards in this deck are being removed or unnecessary, or have already been removed rather, for just more consistency and more resilience. Saw and Half Tech is if you don't have Leer, if you don't have a Veil Summer rolling, if you whatever, and they're targeting your Platinum Angel when you have the cast on the stack. So if you, in this scenario, if we had Repay in Kind on the stack, in this case we have a Tidal Barracuda, but if we had Repay in Kind on the stack and our life total just was 0, if they target our Platinum Angel and Platinum Angel dies before this resolves, obviously we just lose the game. Our life total 0, like state-based, before this even is checked, before any priority, we just lose the game. So we want Platinum Angel. The way Saw and Half works is this entire text box happens before any state base is checked. So we're actually targeting our own Platinum Angel with this and making 2 Platinum Angels. We can, I've also won before by targeting my own Teval with this and making 2 Tevals. You obviously only keep one of them, but doesn't matter. Yeah, your Teval still exists. But yeah, this is not primarily, this is entirely our own creatures. And it's, again, the whole text box resolves before state base is checked. So even if you're at 0 life and you cast Saw in Half, you will still live because you'll have 2 Platinum Angels technically before state based is checked. Rain and Filth is a disgusting way of, you don't care about lands when you're winning the game. So just imagine, like I was trying to give you an example of like, if you're tight on mana, stuff you can do. Pretty sure a Filth is in here. I thought it did. Yeah, it is in here. If instead of Dryad's Revival onto Coveted Jewel, you Dryad's Revival onto Arena Filth, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gross. There's just so many ways this deck can just win. And obviously, Sylvan Safekeeper does not care about your lands either. But when you're winning the game, you can go down to 0 lands. Who gives a crap? You just, again, you're just taking precaution after precaution. When Leer is on the field, your whole life becomes, I think Leer's in the, oh, it is in here. Your whole life becomes easier. 1, spells can't be countered, including your own, which is also why we play stuff like Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer is not countering your opponent's removal. It's, well, I guess technically it is, but we have Veil of Summer, you have Smuggler Surprise, Heroic Intervention, duh. The reason we're not running a crap ton of them is you can see we only didn't see 15 cards in our entire deck. And by the way, Drown in Dreams and Leer makes it so you're just going absolutely insane. Anyway, my point is though, you're gonna see pretty much a form of protection. Like there's almost no way you don't in this entire list. And if you don't, you cast Dark Petition to find the protection or whatever the heck. Like there's just, yeah, Heroic Intervention's right here. Gifts, Saw in Half is right here. We have all of these when Leer is on the field, we have access to. We have, you can't delay anything. Again, remember, you can't counter stuff. But we have plenty of ways of protecting on a go. Leer can also turn 1 mana into 2 with stuff like Harrow. I just saw that. Where is it? Where are you? Yeah, Harrow. We sacrifice a land, we get 2 lands, whatever the heck. This deck can just win on turn 5 and turn 6 so easily. I don't know. I'm obsessed with the deck. But again, granted, a live stream is a little more nerve-wracking than playing in person, but you just have access to so many tools of combating problems. So many tools in this deck to just figure it out. Yeah, if you have any specific card questions, let me know. Like I said, I have 2 cards kind of in my sights to remove. But outside of that, this list is incredibly tight, in my opinion. Is the Barracuda like another safekeeper? Yeah, so if I have a Barracuda on the fields, you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about anything. This costs 1 blue mana to essentially say I win the game. Because if I don't even need to think about pulling back protection stuff, if I don't even need to think about countering things, if I don't, you don't think with this. You just win the game. You don't even need Sylvan Safekeeper. You literally just need Tidal Barracuda and one of the 1,000 cards in this deck that find another card. Because this just says your opponents can't cast spells. And there's very few activated abilities on turn 5 or 6 that say destroy, like that interrupt what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Really very few, because opponents can still activate their abilities, but I don't know what the heck. I'm even struggling to think about. They played a Royal Assassin, but that's a tapped creature. So I don't know. So yeah, Tidal Barracuda says F off. Breach the multi. So these 2 cards are some of my favorite, but Breach the Multiverse, again, in a deck like this, costs us 2 black mana. But this is primarily for our own stuff. It just has the added benefit of potentially just winning the game off finding something from an opponent. But this is just to recur our own Platinum Angel or Empyrean or whatever the heck. Like if we want to go, Empyrean is kind of in this deck for a more mid-rangey style. Empyrean win is with Torment of Hailfire, which so this says our life total can't change. We can't gain or lose life, and we can't pay life except 0. So this does work together because this is whenever you cast a spell, you use life equal to its mana value. If that was a function of Delve, we could not play this deck at all. Or sorry, we could not play this card at all. But it is just trigger off casting a spell. So these 2 do work together. We just don't lose life anymore. And obviously, you can see, we repay in kind when we're at 0 life to set everyone's life total to 0. Or you finesse your life total a little bit first before playing Platinum Empyrean. So getting it down to, I don't know. You can really play this kind of whenever the fuck. But more importantly, you just send it, mega Torment of Hailfire. No one's going to survive 42 X, well, in this case, it'd be X equals 40. But no one's surviving X equals 20 on a Torment of Hailfire. Also, this is fine. Very cool. I like Mithril Coat and Phial of Galadriel, but Lear and your Veil seem better for Angel and Empyrean. Like Reach to Ascension is nasty with all your milling too. Ascension. My brain isn't working right now. Well, Mithril Coat is just the indestructible flash. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly an argument for that, but I don't really also care at the same time. This is the one I wasn't certain about. If you draw a card while you have no cards in hand, draw 2 instead. If gain life. Well, this screams mid-rangey. I don't really care about this. I want my life to be nothing. And the cards I'm finding with Beholds just win the game, so the drawing extra doesn't really matter. But, that is a point. I said it before kind of in passing, but there's very few rocks. But these rocks, Talisman, Jewel, Felwar, Arcane Signet, again, are all costing us nothing to cast, so these are all +1 mana. We have 47, 42 cards in the yard. We can afford to use 2 of them to gain another black, another blue, another green, whatever the heck. I'm trying to think of maybe odd. Hex the Undeath speaks for itself. We're finding up to 6. Thankfully, there's another card that reads exactly like that, except it's exactly 6. But up to 6 cards. How are you not winning the game off that either? but that is like a very big layer of protection on top of everything we have. What I love most about this deck is that you could just throw everything in the yard, because you have stuff like increasing confusion, which doubles your yard size. You have stuff like increasing ambition, which, again, only 1 black mana. We just use 7 cards from a yard, but you find this tutors 2 cards. We have Dryad's Revival, as you saw, that if there was some weird contingent thing and we needed a specific card, great. Obviously, Graveyard Hate doesn't feel great, but you also have a ton of counter magic in this deck to counter those cards. If someone, but at the same time, and I do actually want to note this, we started turn 5 with four cards in our graveyard. So it's not even like they could play a lands and solve this problem. The only thing that like really can trip it up is if they play a card that specifically says, I am removing this target card from your graveyard. But again, they have to be doing that on turn 5. This was a turn 5. We can probably go again just to see if we can get another turn 5 win, which probably can. But yeah, I think I've kind of exhausted the excitement of this deck, though. That would be more just flexing. There's just 1,000 ways, and if you guys ever have any questions, let me know, obviously. Veil, yeah. Veil is because it works so well with Leer, because this isn't countering anything. This is just saying, well, we get to draw a free card, hee, but hexproof, especially onto the board. It's playing the same as Heroic Intervention and Smuggler Surprise, which, again, Platinum Angel and Teval is protecting. Deck is just pure gasoline, and obviously, because you see so many cards in a turn, you could just take the extra turn if you really like messed up calculations. Take your time, let your hair down. You have a Tidal Barracuda out. Just take another turn, untap with all your land, and win the game then. You pretty much will never be doing this buyback option. It's just more... It's okay. You mess up a line, it's fine. Tap your Coveted Jewel and for 2 blue, or 3 blue in that case, and take the extra turn and win the game. But yeah, cards like Entis Restoration. Wow, that took everything out. This puts 2 cards in the yard. So Harrow has the added benefit of the cards being untapped, so this does go +1, but all of these cards that sacrifice the land put 2 additional cards in the yard before our commander even comes down. So this is so min-maxy, but it's a way of gently filling our yard as much as possible as we're getting to the breaking point. Guess Ungiven, like I said, kind of speaks, any kind of tutor speaks for itself. Our tutors are wacko, but they are the best in the game for what this deck is trying to do. Dark Petition costs us 2 black to gain 3 black and a tutor. Increasing Ambition, again, from the yard especially, makes this just disgusting. But we can cast it from our hand and from our yard, and we would only need 11 cards, and we need 11 cards, 2 black to find 3 cards. And we can turn... It's like a magic trick. We can easily turn 11 cards delved for increasing ambition into more than that in our yard. We can this deck performs miracles 24/7. So the steep delve cost for these is just not a concern. And Behold the Beyond, as you just saw, is just gross, especially if you get 2 of them off in a game. Search your library for 3 cards. Cast it again, search your library for... We tutored 6 total cards. You better be winning the game. I don't know. This deck is just my pride and joy. It obviously has... It popped off. I don't even know really how. It's just such a freaking... It's just a joy to pilot. There's 1,000 lines. It is so resilient. Again, we're running out of mana. We're casting Culling Ritual. We're casting Frantic Search because obviously this just destroys everything. But Frantic Search is 1 blue to untap 3 colored lands because pips are going to be the only thing that really sets you back. Fanatic of Ronus. Make the cut. I like the green dragon or rock to give hexproof to Dragon Mama until your next turn. Oh, tap for 4 mana? Maybe. Ronus definitely has potential. I did think about that. The only problem with Ronus is it's green mana. I don't really give a crap about green outside of the actual ramp itself. All the go stuff is black and blue. I mean, I can't even think of what green spell we casted on a go turn. Yeah, there is none. Jade Dragon, I think it's called Jade Orb. This is all from Titan in chat, by the way. Fanatic Runners, make the cut. I like the green dragon or rock to give hexproof to Dragon Mom until your next turn. Huh? What? You missed this when I mentioned it, but like I said, we're only casting Teval when we have protection for Teval. So we have counter magic, or obviously in that case we had a Lightning Greaves. You never really want to raw dog out a Teval, because if Teval gets removed, I don't know, you just lose the game. You really need her out, so protecting her she's the president, right? Well, in this case, that's a poor example because we can lose our president, I think, be fine. But yeah, you really want to make sure you have some form of protection out when Teval is active, when Mama is there. But what are you saying? Green dragon or rock to give hexproof to Dragon Mama until your next turn? What the heck? I'm gonna need some explanation. Cards we considered, but you can see there's a pretty big pattern in the cuts, is that the pips, Jarvis, they're freaking rough. All of these are pretty much in high contention. The only problem with this is it's very mid-rangey, it's upkeep. Endstone, you can do this, but I don't really understand this card in the deck. A lot of people keep telling me about Endstone. We just won on turn 5, so I don't give a crap about this. This is like a mid-range Teval edition. Whenever you play a land or cat, like the drawing a card is nice, but I have 15 cards left in the deck. I saw plenty of stuff. I've never really quite understood that. This is more mid-range, Eternity Vessel. Ori, I mean, casting anything at flash speed versus sorcery speed could definitely be like I could cast Snapcaster. That's a poor example because they're both instant speed, but I could like instant cast a Tidal Barracuda. I don't know. It's thought of. It's not in the deck for a reason, but it's thought of. Machine God's Effigy was put in here because I could theoretically copy my Platinum Angel, but if I'm doing that at sorcery speed, someone else is going to remove it anyway, so I just... Altar of Dementia was definitely a thought, but Culling Ritual I think just does that job better, because I don't think this deck really struggles to mill as much as we just want to see mana. So we have Jade Dragon Orb is 3 mana. It gets Entering Dragon hexproof until end of turn. Jade Dragon Orb. I can say with my full chest, I have no idea what this is. I 100% don't know what this is. When you spend this mana to cast a dragon creature spell, it enters with... Oh, that is unfortunate, the green. Yeah, this kind of sucks, unfortunately. But this is... It's certainly a good thought. The problem with cards like that is I hate this may be just a personal thing. I just don't like cards that are only really good when before the commander. This deck is so much after the commander that the before the commander part is kind of rough, but I guess we are winning. I'm gonna put this in considering. Actually, you are just winning, but actually no, that's bad. The only scenario that hold on. The only scenario that actually works is you are tapped out for Teval and you have a counter spell in hand. Because the second it hits your turn, you don't have that hexproof anymore. So they just target Teval in your upkeep, or whenever a round of priority passes next. Yeah, that is... That is unfortunate. Because I do like the idea of giving hexproof, you know, you being able to tap out for Teval. But it in the very, very niche circumstance of I have Jade, I am tapping out for Teval, and you again, you need that counter spell in hand. So in those scenarios where I have a counter spell in hand, Teval, and Jade Dragon Orb, it is definitely better because it puts it out one turn earlier. But in all other scenarios, if I exclude Jade Dragon Orb, it just slows the turn down by one. Because that lets me on turn 4, like, obviously, and that is the difference between winning on turn 4 or 5, but I don't think our opponents are doing that, so... Yeah, and unfortunately, what this really has going against it is this green pip. Because this just exchanges green pip for green pip. So this is a complete push of mana versus something like, oh my goodness, where the heck are my rocks? Oh, I'm in type in tags. Artifacts are up here. But like Arcane Signet is +1 mana when we're delving for 2. So yeah, that is really unfortunate. That definitely misses. Unless I can, yeah, no. Yeah, the only scenario where Jade Dragon Orb is good is Jade Dragon Orb, Counterspell in hands. Those two would need to exist. Because, yeah, like in that, I said in that scenario, I can do this in a Jade Dragon Orb, get Teval on 5, not worry about it. My next turn rolls around, destroy your Teval on upkeep, counter it, or whatever, counter it, and proceed with my life. But in every other scenario, I am just instead going 5 mana Sans Jade Dragon Orb. I'm sorry, with a mana floating. I'm a turn behind. Granted, I have other ramp, but I'm a turn behind, and then I just use that 1 mana to protect Teval with the counter spell. Because what sorcery... There's not a lot of, like, sorcery removal. There's not, like, a lot of prominent sorcery removal that I can think of. I mean, there's stuff like sacrifice a creature, exile target creature, and that's, like, that's sorcery speed. But the biggins that you always play around are swords and path to exile. And those being instant speed makes it just a little bit awkward. And you definitely want to be able to go +1 on your rocks down the lane. Good thought, though. I'll show you what so I have this massive to test list. And, oh, I need to put this in the appropriate tag. But I tag with the deck, and then this is what I pull from. Teval currently has Tide Caller. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, target player mills 3 cards. Moi. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, that player mills 10 cards instead. So you're milling a lot with this, because most of the spells in our deck are 5 or more mana that we are like casting on go. Literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then Drown in Dreams would be 9. Also, because that's up here. Hellfire would be 10. It's just gross. We're going to be milling a lot. Relic of Legends. Yeah, we can tap our Teval. There's not, I mean, I guess we have some legendary creatures. Oh, yeah, Relic of Legends should probably be in this test list. That's a good shout. That's actually probably a much better card than, in my head, there's just not that many legendary creatures, even for frick's sake. The 2 things we need to really win the game are both non-legendary. But Dirtbag, Leer, and Teval is kind of it. Because Teval is going to be tapped 6, I guess. Yeah, I mean, but that's the min-maxi part of the of the deck, though. Did I add it? No. But yeah, you can tap a untap legendary creature to add 1 mana. So min-maxi, we have Leer. That's 1 additional mana. That is genuinely relevant. So this isn't just like a hee hee ha ha replace. It is a legitimate. That's a serious option. All right, so Tidecaller is probably going to make this list very soon. But literally the only consideration for a Tidecaller not being in the list is I think I would actually mill my entire deck out. Could you imagine? Well, granted, Nightmare and Daydreams did a lot of heavy lifting here. Nightmare and Daydreams milled 7 on this, 5 on this, twice on Behold. We played other protection stuff. Like Nightmare and Daydreams milled like 40 cards. But I genuinely, I'm so serious. I have a legitimate concern that I would kill myself with this card. So that's why it's in the test list. We're looking at it. Abstract Performance, really just, I just like, I don't know, new and shiny, but exile the top 4 cards of the library face down pile, exile 4 cards of the library in a face up pile, opponent choose 1 piles, put a card into your graveyard, aka your hand, look at the cards of the other pile, you may cast a spell on them without paying its mana cost, is the big one. So we're using 5 from our yard, and we're going, we're only -1. And with the cast of this is push. So again, we're exiling 5. We're putting 4 into our yard because only the face-up pile we're casting from. And we are drawing 4 cards. So, spicy meatball. I really like this card a lot. And I don't know why, but whenever you cast this or sorry spell that targets a creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Eh? Just, I don't know. That, oh, sorry, to the battlefields. That changes the entire card to the battlefield. That's why it's in here. I don't know. It's into test list. Just you never want a card to go by and then like realize 4 months later, oh, that card from the set is actually really good in this. I want everything in one place so I can legitimately consider these as I continue to read. The reason that is into test and not immediately in the deck is I have not a lot of cards that target something specifically. Like we have Saw in Half, which targets our own creature, and outside of that, it is few and far between. So it just really depends on the power level of this card, because this might be worth making room for. As in this, I might need to change some protection stuff around just to have this type of effect. So I can do like cards that instead of my whole board getting protection, its target creature gets protection, hexproof, indestructible, all the good stuff. And that really, like, depending on the strength of that card, might be worth considering, because all the stuff I'm bringing back is just, yeah, that's just gross. That's a very, very potentially gross card, and it might be worth changing some of the language in this deck from all creatures or permanents, all permanents I control, to specific ones. But yeah, the test list for Teval is not very big because of how just tight everything has been. I'm probably gonna put in Abstract Performance and Tidecaller in now, and we're gonna get rid of this Sphinx. Because yeah, it's been a few tries of these cards to make work, and I just haven't been able to. This is, as in I've like tried to, okay, that doesn't work. Abstract Performance. I have, let me put it this way. I haven't looked the way of those cards since I've really, those are more of a relic of what the deck was. I haven't looked the way of those cards since I really honed in on making this deck as resilient as possible. We could say Sayonara to Trinisphere to make room. Also, I love that there's only 2 game changers in here. Fierce Guardianship and Gifts. Like, I made this deck bracket 4 on this thing, but you can very much argue that is a turn, any amount of extra turn cards. This is a bracket 3 deck. Has all the makings of it. Oh yeah, yeah, I don't know. This is testing. I think these cards are gonna have a permanent home though. These two cards are just so gross in this list. I'm really excited to see what these turn into. This is card advantage, and plus that free card that I'm casting is, that's probably not gonna feel good from the opponent. And I draw the rest of the cards, and that's for all 1 blue mana. I love it. Do I get to choose? Is this actually a thought? Exile it's 4 cards, face down pile. Then exile 4 cards, face up pile. Opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into a graveyard. Look at the cards in the other pile. Okay, I see. Yeah, with the way this deck uses the graveyard, that is just absolute filthy. I would also say that is probably a combo piece, but for sake of it is mill. It's not really a backup for a piece. That's definitely mill. Yeah, that's probably fine. Yeah, I'm really excited to test out these cards. And what I do after I give them the tag testing, and I put the cards in the sideboard that I'm removing, I then go in here and I just remove. I'm testing them already. I don't need to see this. Relic of Legends probably goes in. Granted, we didn't add a legendary creature, so. But you can keep, yeah, Titan, I like all the suggestions. So whatever suggestions you have, I love thinking of new ways to make this deck as resilient as possible. Trinisphere is a part of that, by the way. I don't know if I ever gave this a good explanation, but Trinisphere makes it so your Fierce Guardianship or whatever, not, well, ours too, but our opponents, whatever, this just really throws a frickin' brick in everyone's plans, and for everything we're casting, it's way more than 3 mana, so we really never care about this. Everything under 3 mana in this deck is something we cast before the commander comes out and never during a go turn, besides Reanimate. Reanimate would probably be the only one. Stabcaster Mage would be one more, but again, it's costing generic for us. So it's costing 1 more generic mana, so we are milling just an extra card. There's really not a downside if we need to cast Reanimate. We mill 2 cards from Reanimate. If we need to cast a Snapcaster, we mill 1 extra card. Everything else already costs 3 or more, obviously the protection stuff, but that means their protection stuff, or sorry, their removal stuff is costing them 3 flat, and we can probably reassure that the 2 extra cards we have to mill for our stuff is not that big of an issue. Anyway, I'm gonna call that the deck tech for Teval. I think I've talked more than enough. I even like improved the deck. I showed how it can win on turn 5 off a random ass hand. And that's a turn 5 with like, I have 1,000 different options still. Yeah, this deck is so fun to pilot. I highly recommend it. The way I built this deck is combo oriented, but I've seen Tevals that are very mid-rangey and look really, really fun. So you could definitely do that. And a lot of like cards in the test list are then way more relevant. And Wormcoil Engine, you can play. Sphinx, you can play. Barrowglyph. There's an argument for Barrowglyph in this too. But my point is, there's completely different ways of playing this deck. I just made this repay in kind win with 0 life baby, and I am having a hard time giving it up, and more I'm just trying to find every excuse to make it better. I could make a mid-range version of this, but I don't know. This deck is so fun. Highly recommend. What do you guys think? Should I start a whole new video? Like, should I end this stream, start up another stream for a deck tech of another one of my decks? Or just replace some of your choices in my own deck? Harrow, likely want to find Breach of Multiverse. Value is so nice. Okay, just replace some of your choices deck with Harrow. Huh? I have Harrow. Did I misinterpret what you're saying? Titan says, I think you covered everything. Just replace some of your choices in my own deck with Harrow. Likely want to find a Breach the Multiverse. Value is so nice. Yeah, I'm confused. Breach is another remnant of having a mid-range package, but Breach specifically is living, one, we're using 5 cards to mill 10. So it's doubling the cost needed for this. But 2, it finds our own card. I really don't care about the other opponent's graveyards. Rarely will I ever care about that. This is more if I mill I need the Snapcaster Mage out of my yard. Let's say Lear and Snapcaster in my yard, and I really need one of them. That's when I'm playing Breach. I'm doubling my yard cost because I'm using 5 exiled to mill 10, and I'm getting the Snapcaster or whatever I need back. Hex of the Undeath is in there for the same reason. I can get a Snapcaster, a Lear, and a Platinum Angel, and an Empyrean or whatever all at the same time. Or Awakener is in the to test list. Probably doesn't make the final cut, if I'm going a bit honest. It's okay. Does it have a foil version? No, it doesn't. Why? I try to make these foil. I was saying I made some interchanges in my own deck. Cultivate for Harrow. Looking for a spot for Breach now too. Cultivate for Harrow. So you're using Cultivate. Am I tripping absolute ballsack, or is Cultivate just the absolute penis version of... Yeah, this is just an awful Harrow. It's also put on the battlefield tapped. Harrow lets you put both of the... I literally put in more basics in this deck to make room for Harrow. Who was it in the Discord, that, by the way, that was obsessed with this deck? Someone said, who is the maker of this deck? I forgot to tag them that we are literally going now. Ooh, that's my bad. I think I did say I would text. Yeah, blah. Been live with Teval deck tech, by the way. Unless you're blah. It's shit. Yeah, it's great here. I was saying I made some interchanges in my own deck. Cultivate for Harrow, looking for a spot for... Yeah, I would get rid of Cultivate immediately. And it's for the same reason... Well, first of all, Cultivate is also sorcery speed. Harrow's instant speed, and this is the min-maxy part of the deck. Harrow puts 2 cards in my graveyard. It puts Harrow itself, and it puts a land in my graveyard. And the lands come into play untapped. So... when I'm in a go turn, this is good even post ramp. If I'm in a go turn and I need an extra mana, let's say I have a Lear out, I spend 1 green, sack it, and I get 2 lands in its place that are untapped. So I'm +1 with a Harrow. Teval always seems to be a deck to draw attention and heat to king make some. I have not solved how to stop the smart player using you as a decoy. Well, this was turn 5 win, so unless you're like CEDH levels of pace, you don't really need to worry about someone else using you as a decoy, because you are the you're not even you are the problem. You are immediately the problem with Teval. So I can't even if you're playing the mid-range version of Teval, everyone is correct for targeting you. But that's why I love this deck so much, is it's resilient as ever-living crap. I just said a few different things, but you really only are bringing Teval out when you have protection for it. Only. I cannot stress enough, sorry, this is aphasia in chat. I cannot stress enough that if you just raw dog a Teval out, you deserve to lose the game. Because you're taking such a gamble for a deck that... I've won on turn 7 before by playing Teval that turn. Search dissuade you from it. Titan asks, does the blue and frantic search dissuade you from it? No, if anything, the blue is exactly why we play it. So green is the color that we're kind of keeping away from on Go. We're making a lot from ground chunk, but this... I'll describe this in a second. I'll answer your question right now. No, to answer your question, because Frantic Search is 1 blue mana exile 2 cards to untap 3 cards. And we replace those 2 cards with 2 cards. This literally pays for itself. We just need 2 cards in the yard, and it puts us up 3 mana. Or it puts us up 2 mana because we are using a blue pip. But it pays for itself in exile cost. It lets us get some more filtering. This card is just perfect. Yes, XD, Aphasia says, and you are targeted, and then you resilience them out until someone actually wins since they're sandbag played smart. Yeah, but I just won on turn 5. I can win on turn 6. I can win on turn 7. Like, the person that is hee-hee-ha-ha, like, I'm assuming is playing Spellslinger in that case, because you're not turning sideways very often for a turn 6-7 win. Pretty much at all, especially when one of the cards on your field is 6/6 lifelink flyer. Even, I'm glad I mentioned this when I did it, but on turn 4 when we played, or sorry, turn 5, whatever. I at one point kept Teval open. I said you probably don't want to attack with it because the 6 life you gain is not worth all the attention you'd receive. You're gaining 6 life, but you probably lose like 10 and people coming sideways at you. Again, everyone is correct to target this specific Teval list with as much hate as possible. There is no like, how do I put this? If someone is playing, if I'm in a 4-person game and someone immediately is like, remove Jared from the game, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, yeah, because I'm gonna win on turn 5 if you don't. We also accounted for interaction in this turn 5 win. But I don't think it's wrong to do that and then win the game after that. Because the alternative is that everyone loses the game versus you potentially winning it, if that makes any sense at all. Like, it is absolutely correct to remove the person who, through interaction, can win on turn 5. I was not paying attention. I did not see Frantic Search included at first glance. Oh yeah, Frantic Search is, oh, sorry, I thought you were saying, yeah. Meredith asks, hello, I'm currently upgrading my deck to get as close to CDH as possible. This is it. This is bracket 4. This is technically, I made it bracket. I clicked this button. Because it's technically bracket 3. It only has 2 game changers in it. But if you really want to make this fucking stupid, you do this. And you add these cards. You're definitely adding the 1 ring because it gives you protection. You're definitely putting in Ancient Tomb, 2 mana for a land. Grape. Confrontation doesn't really matter. I still don't agree with this being a game changer. D-Tutor's obvious. Psych, I don't think you need Psych Rift, I'm gonna be honest. Force of Will is an obvious include. We already have gifts. You can throw in Intuition. I'm probably gonna include this card now that we got rid of Conch Sphinx, just because max I want to do 3, but yeah, it's the reason I don't like bracket 4 or CDH at all, is because CDH starts at this list and then you build out. My Teval list started at this stupid fucking card and then built out. And I'm still winning on turn 5. So also goes Oops All Infinite with 2 basics and 3 random cards. Trying to keep Teval at a regular bracket 3 is quite tough, actually. Well, the way to do that is, like, I don't think you could ever make a Teval combo list and make it bracket 3. The way to make Teval bracket 3 is if it's mid-range. So if you're doing like the Wormcoil engines and Conch Sphinx and Kozilek and whatever, you know, there's you include the Eldrazi. What the fuck? You include the Eldrazi's. Force of Will isn't in my colors? Mind if I post a Moxfield link? No, you can post a Moxfield link. What? Can we go over why Force of Will is not in your Teval's colors? Am I reading that correctly? This is in blue. This is blue card. This blue work. But yeah, this is my overall biggest problem. That's a completely separate rant, but this is my humongous problem with CDH and bracket 4 in general. Is it starts at this list and then you build the deck. Like, oh, I'm gonna play a Dimir deck. Great. All right, let me add my Flare. I'm not running Teval, question mark. Are you not the person that says, hello, I'm currently upgrading my deck to get as close to bracket 3? Oh, when you said that, you didn't mean your Teval list, you meant a random list. Okay, Meredith, I hope you can understand that in a stream titled Teval Deck Tech live stream, that I would assume you're talking about Teval. But yes, to answer your question, you can. But also, we have a Discord that helps with that. I don't know if you're a part of the Discord. That'd be insane if you weren't, actually. Because we're a small channel. So you finding this by happenstance would be crazy. But I'm gonna link it just in case. It's also in the description. But here, welcome to Discord. You're welcome to link it here and we can go over it. That just caught me so off guard, sorry. I was so confused. EDH in Finland, Aphasia says, EDH in Finland does not really care about brackets, so my fair Teval has like 7 game changers, but it's not trying to combo out. Yeah, bracket 3, battle cruiser are there for a good time with friends, just chatting. I only watch good streamers. Hey! I don't know if you're making fun of me but you're here right now. So I appreciate that, Meredith. But yeah, feel free to, Meredith, welcome to the Discord if you're not a part of it. But you can post your list here, whatever the heck. Not really care about brackets is kind of weird. I'm assuming it's because of the sample size of people. We have a lot of people who play Commander here in the States. So there's a lot more flexibility of finding CDH group, your bracket 4 group, your bracket 3 to people who don't care, whatever. So unless you're saying like there's 10 people in Finland in my town that play Commander and then no one cares, I can understand that. Aphasia says, Mr. Strimmer, can you please help me in bracket 2 UB control decks as per title, please? Okay. Meredith, you can link your deck, it's fine. Kira says, the stream does pop up randomly in recommendations though, if that helps. Lovely, okay. Well, if you guys want, we can go again and just show you how this deck can win on turn 5, turn 6. Up to you guys. And welcome, Kira. Titan says, if you start running Force, I do like more NPCs like Dwari, Seagate Restoration, Sicken of Stupor, Glasspool Mimic. Okay, a couple things to that, Titan. Dwari is kind of whatever. That is a counter spell that in like rarely gets you what you're looking for, and the horrible. I would play this card if it didn't say this. So bad. I hate tap lands with all of my heart. I hate them. I hate that I play this. Honestly, I'm gonna get rid of the duels in this deck too. Underground Mortuary and Triome are in here only because of turn 1. Anything else, and I could potentially lose the game from playing those. Seagate Restoration has 3 blue pips in it, so that's just unfortunately cannot happen. Oh, Meredith linked her list in the Discord. Hi, Meredith, welcome. Seagate of Stupor is in this list because that's just one of the best MDFCs ever. The reason it's one of the best MDFCs ever is because it's untapped. Yippee! And Glasspool Mimic, again, is a land that comes into play tapped, and the only thing you're going to be copying is a Platinum Angel. In that case, Saw and Half just blows it out of the water because it makes 2 Platinum Angels. Costs the same amount, except you're changing blue for green, and you don't have to, it's instant speed. Don't have to worry about sorcery speed stuff. Yeah, and San Diego Rule 0 is mandatory. San Diego? Well, yeah, I mean, you should rule 0 in any way, but I was trying to guess why in Finland they don't care about brackets, because that's how roughly you can figure out what a deck power level is. Like, technically this is bracket 3. I clicked on bracket 4 because this deck just is stupid. It's really hard to make a Teval list into a legitimate bracket 3, in my opinion, because it just, the card just reads stupid. A Cyber will be getting put in the deck in place of basic lands. Ah, okay. So let's shift gears. Holy crap. What the fuck is this? Show them what chaos looks like when it wins. The blue player can burn their ocean dry. Is this a copy pasta? All right. What are you playing? Cruel Claw. Oh, that's always fun. Well, right off the bat, I could tell you're not playing enough game changers. You're not even playing Demonic Tutor in this list. So, if we're talking about CEDH, again, very hypo-relevant, you aren't playing nearly enough. You're also not playing your free stuff. You have the free exile when your commander's out. And in CEDH, on turn 3, there's like, have to remove stuff or you lose. Oh, you are playing Tutor. Oh, you're saying this goes, I see. Okay, I'm following. You wrote this. This is brilliant. This is amazing. It's true here. Everyone knows everyone. Our bracket is seeing the other guy's face. Yeah, I figured. The only way that made sense is if you have a very, very small community. All right, so D Tutor is coming in, and you are playing. You're not playing. Where is oh my god, why can I not remember the name of this? Because Voxy is the commander? It's CDH because Voxy. Huh? What does that mean? Deadly Rollick. Holy crap, we got there. I'm gonna get rid of type and tags because what the heck. Deadly Rollick should definitely be in here. CDH is one in turns 2 and 3. So if you can disrupt someone's turn 3 win when you have your commander out with a Deadly Rollick, you will probably be doing pretty okay. This looks like it's just way too slow. Like these cards are never coming out. Well, this might. But like these. Okay. First of all, this is not a CDH commander. Let's just start with that. This is going to be very hard. Like you can make this bracket 4. You can make anything bracket 4 just by adding all the freaking generic staples. But this inherently will not be CDH simply because it is a turn 3 commander that does absolutely nothing when it comes out. The game is over and done by the time Cruel Claw hits the board. Second, the turn 2 and turn 3. Wait, hold on. Someone, I need to answer a phone call real quick. But turn 2 and turn 3 is where everything happens in CDH. And I'm not really seeing where you're ramping into this very easily, but a lot of this stuff is just way too expensive for CDH. If I had a next Marlin, Mornsong, and Sizen all at the same time, I would believe you, but then I would believe it's not CDH. You know what I mean? Like that is super possible. Also, Lightning Bolt exists. That is Lightning Bolt is a good magic card. And if you really wanted, you could play Ghost Fire Slice. I really like Ghost Fire Slice in, I don't know, there's like very few games where Ghost Fire Slice isn't a 1 mana 4 damage. And I think you said something about these lands not lands being these, because I don't know what's happening right now. Give me one. I'm gonna need to answer one text. I will be live streaming. Okay. Everything is fine. My work was gonna, literally my boss was gonna come here for a second to give me shit I need to sign from Triple Check, but they said they're just gonna go home instead, so. Anyway, I'm gonna stop looking at this list because I don't really know what's happening. But based on looking at that list, I'm just going to say from this perspective, Meredith, that I would stick to bracket 3 as your home for a bit. And this is no offense to you, and I'm gonna help you out this list as much as possible, but this does not scream someone who is ready for a deck that is ready for CDH, and unless you're trolling, I would learn the game a little more intimately before diving into probably, this is like just tackling Yu-Gi-Oh right now. This is literally like, I'm gonna bring a Blue Eyes to a Yu-Gi-Oh game. I think that's actually the perfect analogy. Metaphor? Metaphor. Yeah. We're gonna, I would, this is so perfect. I would take this down to bracket 3, live there for a long time, learn all the everything, because I have I think actually every single one of my bracket 3 decks can beat this deck as it's designed right now. He has a bit of cards used in Omnixilus. Yeah. No, I know. Listen, I know Omnixilus is. Let me put it this way, Wisp. When someone comes to me with, I want to make this CDH or I want to make this deck better, I'm going to assume they don't want the commander entirely replaced. So obviously I could like, oh. That's so funny to me for some reason. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I see how we can improve this. Changes the commander entirely. Oh my god, that tickled me for so much for some reason. But yeah, Meredith, you and I are we're gonna work on this list together. I'm actually gonna do my best to bring it to a very respectable bracket 3 list, which means we're gonna get rid of whatever land destruction stuff you have in it. I supplicate the list. We're gonna remove land destruction stuff, and we're gonna just kind of make it as consistent of a Cruel Call list as possible, because you need to lose to a lot of bracket 3 decks before you understand what you're losing to. I totally believe you cannot win games unless you start losing them. And white cards, shit's good. Exactly. Just add some blues, get some Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares in there. But yeah, it is really, Meredith, right now, the vibe of that list gives me, you are wanting to play Yu-Gi, like modern day, you're gonna go into a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament with a Dark Magician or a Blue Eyes deck. It's gonna be a very big uphill battle. Anyway, I'm literally just, what are we even talking about? Sitting as a Magda player. Meredith, I hope you're still here. And I hope you don't misinterpret anything I'm saying as like cruel or whatever. Like, unless you're trolling, I can tell you're new to the game. I see a lot of like, that's how I built decks when I first started playing this. I'm like, oh, whatever I've seen online. I'm ready to see Power of Hermit Druid or Hermit Crab. Come on, Lear. Should we just run it again? Screw it. We'll go again. Hedron Crab. Well, Hedron Crab. I'm excited to see the 2 new cards I just added. Let's do the 2 new cards I just added. For those who are new here, would be Tidecaller, which the whole reason this was in my testing list for so long and not actually testing is because I'm actually nervous this is gonna deck us before you win. Abstract Performance is just disgusting card value. Let's go. Sure, yeah, let's try it. Where do I put me? There. Oh, sorry. This happens every time. This is like the whiskey dick of deck loadings. Hey, it works eventually. The 1-drop looks really good. I'm nervous how good the 1-drop looks though. Like I said, the only reason I have not been like really including it is because I'm nervous it literally kills us. We have a way to mill. Dark Petition finds Behold the Beyond. We have no ramp. We have protection. We have some interaction too. I always kind of like to fake scenario removing other people's stuff. This is so kind of crap. This would be a turn 6 win. We are really indiscriminate for a long time. Oh, wow. Screw it. Whatever. You can't really test decks unless you keep the opening hands, even if it doesn't seem that appealing. Turn 6 wins, we still try to take in this neighborhood, especially if we have some sort of interaction that we can, like, granted this isn't like a creature or anything, but if there's an artifact or enchantment that looks like they can win the game, I always, like, obviously goldfishing yourself, I can make this deck entirely uninteractive with no way of, you know, if someone has a turn 5 or turn 4 or turn 5 win brewing, I don't like to just watch that go by. All right, so we're just gonna start. Seeing that we don't have a turn 1 play, this is where we would fetch into the, well, we do kind of need an island too. This can find an island. Oh, this is interesting. So the only thing I'm considering here is if you go Triumph or you go Mortuary. But this can find an island, so I'm not positive it really matters right now. Triumph. It would be the same amount of black. Yeah, it would just be 1 extra island. There's no way that could bite us in the butt, right? Alright? The 1 extra island. Well, what would this find? This wouldn't find an island. This would find a black. So it finds an island instead. We have the black source there. Wow, that is tough. All for an extra surveil. We don't really like our hands. We're going to be milling. Fuck it. The fact that I'm thinking this much on just a goddamn mortuary is... It should tell a lot. This better be worth it, I swear to God. Oh, well. Blue. That is so unfortunate! I guess we didn't shuffle first, so technically that shouldn't be on there, but it's still RNG anyway. I think we just put this in the yard. Just more cards in the yard. That's the whole reason Mortuary's in the deck anyway. Alright, turn 2. I forgot I had a hedge base. I would have fixed hedge base. Ah! That is really funny. Alright, well, we'll find our blue here. We do need to check our life total though. Because that was a fetch, right? Yeah. We can't not find an island with that. And now this is actually like food for thought. What ends up... Okay, the food for thought is Mezorb makes you a target. I hate that it always does, but it always freaking does. So we're just gonna go Ripples. Ripples also lets us get a card back for paying life. Who cares? And we have really nothing to spend that 1 mana on for a while. So we're gonna go Ripples. Just Mezorb. Everyone always targets you when you play a freaking Mezorb. So unless we had like unless we had a Doric and we're getting Teval out a turn earlier, I'm just gonna go Ripples and call it a day. So it's after we draw, pre-combat main phase. We're gonna mill 1, 2, 3. Do we want any of those cards? We probably want Frantic Search. We have nothing to spend mana on because we're gonna go Mezorb here. So we'll spend 1 mana, 3 life, make ourselves a freaking target. Why not? Get Frantic Search, which should probably win. Like that, that's just massive. Then we go to play our lands. Do we thin our deck? We're at 35. We're probably getting hit here. This is turn 3 of a cycle. You think just play Winter Orb or something. People always overestimate Mezorb for some reason. It's because, okay, bad players don't like being milled. The only players that hate being milled, and rightfully so, are combo players. Makes total sense. Half your crap is in the yard. But if you're playing any deck that turns sideways, me milling you does absolutely nothing. Because it's the same result. Everything happens all the same. Yeah, Blood Chief Ascension is obviously a great combo with Mezorb, but yeah, I hate so much this notion that milling cards is bad for anybody. Because, like, okay, I don't even know an example to show. 3, 4, 5, let's say I'm milling this. Please tell me this is a good card. Perfect. Bloom Tender. These are all not Bloom Tender. They could have been Bloom Tender, but I just drew Bloom Tender because I milled 5. Like, the point is you don't, oh my God, I'll shuffle this. It's all RNG. It's all RNG. Your best cards could be right after the Mezorb every single time, right after the mill every single time. Anyway, we're going into Mezorb. Hey, stop. Stop. Cat. Stop. Cat is on a wire that I need. I want black, so we'll just find a safe one here. I am definitely willing to say we are taking some damage. Oh, fuck, screw it. While they're in the deck. This is why you don't play duels, by the way, because it makes decisions stupid easy. Are we grabbing that? Our only blue is there. Only blue source is there. Actually, we're probably grabbing Underground Sea here. This is the untapped one? No. Wow, I need to fix this land base. I am so sorry. But they're in here for a reason. 1, 2, Mezorb. I'm gonna say we're probably taking like 4 damage, 5. This is turn 3, and we just untapped with the Mezorb and Ripples. I think like people are gonna try to start beating our ass in. Okay, so we untap, we mill 3. 1, 2, 3. It's definitely getting, that's nice. It's definitely getting to like, we're in trouble territory. Then we draw, then we mill 3 again. Oh, good news is we're getting a bunch of stuff. 1, 2, 3. It's a good reason why Snapcaster's in the yard. Gotta remember that. It's a good reason why you should always keep a hand with ramp in it. Yeah, like I hope anybody watching is understanding why I'm pretty much always keeping a ramp in my hand, because Teval out now feels better than, obviously, let's just passing again, and then Teval out again with no ramp or things to protect it, because we'll be tapping out for Teval. So, need to think here. I don't think we want the Snapcaster back, because I think we're just going to lose on combat damage in a second. Is Snapcaster getting anything? No. We can always get Snapcaster later. I think we just leave all of this in the yard right now. But this is definitely like sketch territory, to the point where there might be an argument for the Snapcaster just to... I guess not really. Did we just increase in confusion here and just double our yard? That might be the play, actually. Wow, yeah. Don't keep a hand without ramp in it. Lesson taught and learned here. I think we can... I think we just throw out everything now. Let's see what Frantic Search finds, because we're not getting a lot of hits off the top of our deck, so... we can certainly see what this brings us. 1, 2... Can we win off that? Maybe. Discard 2, untap 3. So we have increasing confusion. That finds us at instant speed. An instant or sorcery card. We already have 1 tutor. I'm just trying to think. Probably Fierce Guardianship. I don't feel like the worst again, because this is literally turn 4, but I'm just trying to like I think we find Fierce Guardianship with this, so we don't feel bad about it Teval turn 5, and then we just try to win. Yeah, I think, oh, we just also untapped, so yep. 1, 2, 3. Nothing horrible, or not necessarily horrible, but just nothing we really care about right now. Okay, I like that. So we're gonna pass. I'm willing to say also we take freaking 3 more damage or whatever. We haven't done anything besides Mezorb in this, but it is still definitely threatening. So end of turn, we're going to tap 4 mana into a Waterlog, into Fierce Guardianship, so we can at least... Yeah, but this is a really good example of like a really sketched everything without ramp. Granted, I'm pretty harsh on myself, I guess, but it's turn 5. I don't like, at the end of the day, we are still very early into this. So I grab Fierce Guardianship, I untap, I mill 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I draw, and then I mill 3. 1, 2, 3. Blood Chief Ascension. Oh, some fun cards. Abstract Performance being a new card. I'm fairly certain I can win next turn. With a Teval and a Fierce Guardianship out. And by fairly certain, I mean there's almost no way we can't. Do I want... No, because I need to spend all my mana on Teval right now. All right, so yeah, that's gonna be the play. So we're gonna do Spring. Oops. Whoopsie. Spring Teval. I am absolutely open into saying we ended up using that Fierce Guardianship this cycle. And if it gets back to us, we untap 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this is so in the bag. Draw 1. Mill 3, the order of operations. 1, 2, 3. Do we want any of that? Absolutely not. There's almost no way we lose this. Okay, so we also untapped the Heroic Intervention, which is great. So how do I want to play this out? There's 1,000 different ways you can play this out, but I think Behold the Beyond is in our future. Okay, so we're gonna go, these are now irrelevant. We're gonna go 1, this is turn 6, so we are 1 turn later. 2 for Dark Petition. Dark Petition floats us 3 because we have, I hate to break it to you, we have more than 2 instant sorcery cards in our graveyard. And then we get rid of this crap, we don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for casting Dark Petition. This is the little game we have to play right now. Our life total. We have plenty of cards in the yard. But I think we can easily take this. We're gonna go 1, 2, and then 5 more. We're gonna lose 7. Let's say someone in. Do we want to say interaction? Sure, I'll say interaction. We give Teval indestructible. Lose 7. We're gonna discard our hands. Argument for casting Heroic Intervention now, but this is indestructible. It's the end of turn. But it's more. If this was like, how do I put this? This is only permanents that exist on the battlefield right now. So Platinum Angel would not receive this effect. Like everything I play after this would not receive this effect. Sorry, I'm also not really reading chat right now. I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing here. Our life total's at 4. We have, our life total is 21 basically if we want it, because Teval can attack. All right, what wins us the game? A few things. I think my mind right now, actually, yeah, this is definitely the play. We're grabbing a Tidal Barracuda. We have 1,000 cards in our yard. Yeah, we have 1,000 cards in our graveyard. Oh, sorry. We have less than 1,000 cards because I did not get rid of 5 cards in it. Not that it's very relevant because we have 1,000, but just get rid of all the lands first. Make your life very easy. Will not be casting Aura Awakener. Aura Awakener is probably also not gonna, it's in the testing list, probably not making the cut. Hedge Maze, sure. But we still have 1,000 cards in this graveyard right now. Okay, so Behold the Beyond resolves. Refining Tidal Barracuda. 14 Platinum Angel. How do I want to do it? Lear could win the game. Yes, I think it's Lear. Oh, okay, Tidal Barracuda is gonna happen first. The only thing that could possibly happen is also we don't reveal these. This is completely unknown information. The only thing that can happen is a counter spell, but if you're gonna counter spell, you countered the Behold the Beyond. Just makes sense. And luckily it's not part of the cost to discard a hand, so if this gets countered, we end up keeping we end up keeping a tutor, if that makes sense. So we use that tutor to find Lear, which casts Behold the Beyond. Part of the resilience. Okay, so this is what we have. I think we're just immediately going 1, down 4, and just getting rid of whatever. I hate that. This part is the worst. 1, 2, as you can guess it, there are lands. 3, 4. Oh, sorry, 3. For Tidal Barracuda, I'm also going to be casting Plat Angel here to bring us to 3, because you don't want to do reverse. You don't want to play Lyra, then Platinum Angel. You want to do Platinum Angel, then Lyra, because you just lose the game otherwise. And that'll be with 7 more. So 1, keep that. 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to think of stuff we are just never, potentially even in different scenarios, need again. 5, because we need to tap it. This is lands that play tap. 6, and we have Indestructible on our commander at the end of turn. Maybe good for Platinum Angel. Also kind of irrelevant because players can't cast anything. Royal Assassin, whatnot, activated abilities are irrelevant. You could say 7 because we won't be doing lands. So these go. Plat Angel hits the field. We can now no longer lose the game, and our opponents can't win the game. We have 3 mana floating. We have Alir able to cast. We have 1,000 mana in our graveyard to pull from. So players can no longer cast anything. We can cast everything at instant speed. Again, counter magic, we use ambition, not confusion. We use ambition to find Lyra. Lyra plays Behold the Beyond, so even if they counter Beholds, this is all fine. So we are now fully protected. Our life total doesn't matter. Players can't cast spells right now, so let's just play it out and see what... Oh, I just realized I tapped the wrong source for it, because we can't play Lyra with this right now. But let's see if we can... Oops. If I'm not tapping like an idiot, this works out totally fine. So we have a Revival in our hands that can find a Frantic Search, which untaps our mana. So let's just say you make this mistake and players aren't letting you take it back. We're going to go Dryad's Revival. So it's going to cost us 4 cards in this yard. I'm going 1, 2. Players can cast spells right now, so it's fine. This is until end of turn. We don't... I think we can just win with this. I say I think, but, you know. We have the creatures we need out. We're not really... We are going to be milling a lot more, so we can keep Hex in there. 4. Sure. That goes away. Life total doesn't matter anymore. This finds Frantic Search. Bring that out. Exile that because it's a flashback. And now, like, 17 cards in yard, we need to start paying attention. So, again, this is assuming you have shitty friends who don't let you take shit back. But assuming we tap a little bit differently, all chillin', all fine. We have to exile 2 cards. Malevolent Rumble is not something we give a crud about, and we don't care about Smoking with Surprise anymore. But this pays for itself because we're about to draw 2. Put that back. Discard 2. Oh, this is lovely. Lyra now costs 1 black. I love this deck. So we're gonna discard the, well, Coveted Jewels also. We're gonna discard these 2. We're gonna untap here, 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 and we have black there. Yep. So Lyra costs 1 black. Reanimate again. I'm gonna stop keeping track of life total after it literally hits 0. But we're going to find Lyra. Was that a flashback? No, I brought this back to my hand. So Frantic Search is in there again. And now just what? Whoops! I don't even know what button I hit to put that in there. Now it's kind of whatever you want. We had it increasing confusion in here. Yeah, so this will double the size of our graveyard. The problem is it will get rid of stuff we potentially want. So my group is if you are stringed to win, you better play correctly. Right. Which is why I made that. You know, that's why we went through that. So I think, so let's see, we can, our yard can be 1. We don't need this anymore. We have like 15 tutors in here. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need Ascension. No one can play spells right now, so we don't have Fierce Guardianship. We don't need this. Yeah, okay. This is certainly the play. We'll keep Reanimate in there. You never know. What can Reanimate find that we don't? Maybe we can get rid of Reanimate, actually. Doom Whisperer? Sure. If we happen to mill that right now, but I think we can just get rid of Reanimate too. This won't be in there. Snapcaster will keep. This will keep. This will keep. This will keep. Jonathan Dreams is win more in this scenario. I kind of want to play Abstract Performance just to like see it, because we are testing that card. But yeah, okay. So this will be the play. We're gonna go 1 for increasing confusion out of our graveyard, and we're going to, the X spell is gonna be cast with all this. We have it. This gives a flashback. It also has flashback. Easy peasy. So we're gonna use this flashback, and this lets us delve into it. So we're gonna use, I don't even know how many cards this is actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're using 8 cards to mill twice that amount. So we're gonna mill 16 cards now. I almost tapped incorrectly again. I almost did it. Oh my sweet God, I got a... Color pips is the only thing that matters in this freaking deck, so make sure you're keeping track of it. It was I tapped Underground Sea for that when I should just be using that for reanimate. Yeah. Okay, we're good. So we're gonna mill 16 cards. So like I said, increased confusion just doubles this size of our graveyard from what you put in it. And now, I don't know, who wants to come up with the line of how we win? There's 1,000 freaking ways to win here. So we'll entertain this. We'll do flashback for Frantic Search. We don't even need to do this. We can just go right into Dark Petition, which adds 3 black, which lets us cast Behold all over again, blah, blah, blah. But we're gonna Frantic Search. We're gonna get rid of lands, like we said. Doesn't matter what we draw, so I'm just gonna mill 2. Our life total doesn't matter, it's already 0. And then we get to untap. Oop, we need to pay for it. We're untapping 3 lands from Frantic Search. Great. We can go, oops, I put that in the graveyard, I think. Exiled. I don't know, how much fun do we want to have with this? I haven't played with Abstract Performance, so screw it, we're sending it. I am testing this card, and I really want to see how it works out. These are mid-range. 5. It's 5? 5. So 5 leads our graveyard, and how it works is exile the top 4 cards of a face-down pile. 1, 2, 3, and then I do a face-up pile. Then opponent chooses one of the piles. That pile goes to the graveyard, and the other pile, I get to cast a card from that pile for free. And then the rest go to my hands. So, chat, I'm gonna let you... Mill 3? Did I miss a mill? Oh, yes, sorry. Mill 3 from Frantic Search, which would be these 3 cards. So pretend you don't know these, chat. And then we go 1. I have 20 cards left in my deck. This is what I mean by I couldn't mill myself out with Tidecaller. It might be unnecessary. I totally forgot about the... I said it's irrelevant now, but we casted Frantic Search again. But at this point, you're just playing with your food, because all you need to find is Repay in Kind. I just wanted to see how this card worked. We won this game a long time ago. And explaining that, we just do sorry, all we cast is Dark Petition, which finds Repay in Kind. Win the game. So if someone has a brain, they definitely just let us cast something from this for free. So this pile's gonna go to the graveyard. And we get to cast something from here for free and then keep the rest. So I'm gonna cast Windfall. I'll be generous and say it's 4. So I discard this hand, everything goes, and I'm gonna draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Culling Ritual to get more mana if we need it, whatever the heck. Like, this deck just wins in so many different ways. But all we're doing is going Dark Petition, which floats us 3 black after... Okay, and I'll be fair again. I'll cast freaking Culling Ritual. This destroys these 2, makes us black mana. No take backsies in your string turns. I hear that. Let's say there's only 2 things in existence that had 2 or less. We're gonna use that too, and these 3 cards. And we are going to go into Breach, blah, 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 blah. This makes 3 mana. We play a Repay in Kind, we're at 0 life. I went through so many extra steps there. Because I mostly just wanted to see how good This might be just win more. I haven't gotten to play it yet, though. This was... Where the heck is it? Am I dumb? Did I not exile it? Is it in my graveyard? It's probably in my graveyard. Because I did flash it back. Chat? Help? What the heck? Oh, here it is. I did put it in the graveyard. Abstract performance. We didn't need to do this at all. We could have easily just gone into the Dark Petition. Like, this is a disgusting setup. These three. And we found them with absolutely... This is turn 6, so it is a turn later than what we did, but that we had literally 0 ramp. We had 0 ramp this game. And we still found a way to both protect Teval with no mana, get Teval out on turn 5, and then win on turn 6. I just... This deck does it 1,000 different ways. In this case, we ended up just milling the perfect amount of cards with Ripples of Undeath and everyone's favorite Mesmeric Orb to further compound the win. So Increasing Confusion was an all-star there. Let's see. I even casted a Revitalize Repass, assuming someone's removing Teval or some crap. I don't know. Dryad's Revival was huge there to make up for the Manta. Frantic Search was MVP of this. What else was good? Culling Ritual fixed the mana again that we talked about. I really need to take a long look at this because it reads really well. I just don't know. I mean, we're testing it right now, but it reads very well. Don't know if it plays very well because it might just be win more. This is with Teval out. I essentially mill 4. I use 5 to mill 4, but this goes in graveyard, so it's a push on what I mill. So for 1 blue, I'm casting 1 spell for free and drawing 3 cards. All right, now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds foolish to not include that, but you know what I mean. Title Barracuda being MVP. Like, our Behold the Beyond was what? Platinum Angel, Title Barracuda, and something else that just helped us chain. Oh, was it just literally Lear? But yeah, I don't know. The best card in the deck is... That was a turn 6 win. This happens all the time, by the way. It's incredibly consistent. The best card in the deck is Behold the Beyond. Behold the Beyond's combo with... am I blind? Yeah. With Dark Petition is unbeatable. Dark Petition making 3 mana for only costing us 2 mana is... It was Lear, but you had a backup. Yeah. But like I said, if they countered Behold the Beyond, we had... where's this puppy? Where's the other Increasing Ambition? But I just don't know where the heck it is in this. It's in Tutors. We would just Increasing Ambition for Lear recast Behold the Beyond from the yard. So really the only interaction people can make with this deck, again, this is all turn 5 or turn 6, so they need to, it needs to be now, is they need to exile our graveyard as we specifically pull something from Lear. But that is the only scenario where they can do that. If you have a Title Barracuda out, guess what they can't do? So it needs to be an activated ability, which isn't unheard of. There's some, like, there's a lot of 1 mana artifacts that exile target card from a graveyard, but like, it's just so, even if you, I made, I think like 2 mistakes here, just with how I was tapping mana, but you're still able to recover it with Dryad's Revival, finding Frantic Search on tapping your lands, Culling Ritual, fixing that I accidentally forgot about the 1 black because we used it here. But there's 12 cards left in our deck. On turn 5 when we won the last example, there were 15 cards in our deck. You see everything. Absolutely everything. So you can kind of just pick and choose what you're winning with or how you're getting to specifically the repay in kind combo. How you get here is 1,000 different ways. The only way you're not winning with repay in kind is if someone exiles this from your graveyard and you're also casting it from your graveyard. Rarely are we casting this from our graveyard. Obviously, if we mill it, that is the option, and if someone can exile it. But it's also why we play Torment of Hailfire, just in case someone is target exiling that card. Yeah, I don't know. Even okay, let's play out another scenario where someone exiles Torment of Hellfire and they exile Repay in Kind. This is a turn 6 board with this shit out. Like, let's say they did exile, but I don't have access to Torment of Hellfire or this. I have access to my entire deck, pretty much. Everything in exile I don't need. So on turn 6, I get a Platinum Empyrean out. Obviously, I do my best to stop drawing magic cards because I have 12 cards in my deck. But, like, I have access to all of this counter magic. I have access to huge beaters. I don't know. You have everything you could possibly want. Still, this is actually all kind of garbage. But everything you see in here can still probably carry through a game. But, in what frickin' scenario are someone exiling both? Unless on your very first mill, and then someone Bajuka Bogged. Which is just like, like every game of Magic, variance, you know? If you want, we can go one more time, but I think I've shown enough of this deck just being dog stupid. I've heard before that this could be the Praetor instead. The only argument I have for this over the Praetor, and the Praetor still might win, this is why this is also in the testing area, is that the Praetor cost 8. I keep saying the Praetor. What the fuck is it? What the heck is the Praetor called? Oh my god. There's only 5 of them. Praetor Green. What the heck is this? Predator. I didn't know. Praetor. Vorinclex. Dear Lord. Vorinclex is something. Yeah, I was trying to just think of Vorinklex's name. Vorinclex is an argument you can make for the deck. The only reason it's not in here is because this says 6 and Ground Bag says 4. And as you guys have now seen through 2 gameplays, our graveyard does get absolutely stacked, but it's getting stacked through very min-maxy management. So at one point I can have like 4 cards in my graveyard. Obviously I can compound that a little bit better and, well, not a little bit better. I could compound that a lot better with like increasing confusion and whatnot, and double and just start, you know, I all of a sudden I can have a very big graveyard. But for a good portion of your setup is done with very minimal cards in the yard. And in my head, it's maybe just totally incorrect. That 2 mana difference could be the difference between winning and losing a game. Maybe not. This also adds 1 mana that land could produce instead of just adding green, which is, as we saw, I was tight on blue. And did I not also say that, like, this being, I'm gonna fix the mana base after this. I need access to blue and black, not green. Green should not, I should have no tap lands that don't make blue and black. So there's only one of these surveil lands gonna stay. I'm gonna get rid of the dual lands and we're gonna make it an even, I'm gonna weaken the mana base just to show. But yeah, the Triome right off the bat would have solved a lot of issues, and I even called that. But I also, it's kind of my fault, because I didn't know I had all 3 surveil lands in here, because I would have found the blue-black one on turn 1 instead of that. But yeah, I don't know. Does anyone have any more questions as to card choices in this deck? It's certainly not perfect, and why don't we just do this now? I'm gonna go to my test list. We do only have 2 game changers, so I could add this intuition. All right, well, let's just do that now. There's cards I see that I've tested them a few times now, and every time, if I'm avoiding a card and I'm winning games pretty easily, that tells me that I don't want or need that card in the deck. So we're gonna get rid of These two, I am gonna add Vorinclex. I may just, I'm kind of scared of that 6, but he may end up paying for himself anyway. Because I only need 2 mana up. Yeah, I only need 2 mana up on the go turn for that to be effective. As in, I use 2 green mana, and if I have 2 mana up, it pays for itself in that regard. And so any other mana, which if we have Teval out or whatever the heck, should be making it anyway. And it's whenever you tap a land for mana, so I would use a dork to theoretically pay for this. So we'll try it. I don't really love the idea. I'll throw an intuition here because we got rid of a game changer. I mean, this card is $300, so maybe not actually, because that's always just lame. That is kind of lame. No intuition. We'll throw in Relic of Legends from our test list. I don't want to add D-Tutor or whatever, like, I don't know. I like making decks as strong as humanly possible without just adding the staples in it. Forum is, I would need to restructure this deck a bit, but we'll add Relic of Legends to the list. Because any kind of ramp, especially when it comes for free, is absolutely going to be used. And if we have Vorinclex out, if we have Lear out, that's 1 additional mana we have access to. And that is super, super useful. Ramp. Use the 2 blue draw card. 2 mana Strixhaven blue draw card. I'm gonna need... What the heck are you I went through all of Strixhaven. Scryfall. I'm not... Just tell me what the freaking card's name is. I just realized I'm typing it... Actually, we can do... I don't know if it's instant or sorcery. Instant. Sorcery. I'll just go through everything from Strixhaven real quick, because I'm pretty sure I went through absolutely everything. If it's in the commander, then... Flow states. Well, I'm sure we'll see it in a second. Not reprints. Thank you. Let's see. I'm pretty much ignoring everything with... The big thing we want to see is this 3 or this 2. The paradigm cards we don't care about because we try to win on turn 5 or 6. So there's not the accumulated value from it is hard whatever. Flow state. Oh, this thing. This is just stock up but worse. Pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think stock up, if stock up were to make, I've read that card before. If stock up were to make the list, then I would, if I like really like that effect, then I would also consider it. But yeah, there's pretty much gonna be nothing here that moves the needle for me in any humongous way. We already go through our entire deck. So one of these things would need, like, I look at every free thing. Target player draws X cards, together deals whatever, where X is the number of colors mana spent to cast a spell. This is so troll in Teval because you're not spending anything to cast it. But yeah, I think we've pretty much exhausted everything to test from Teval. I've shown Teval power of it. We have 11 cards in the sideboard. There should be 11 cards here testing. What am I... Oh, did I not like drag something? Relic of Legends is here. Whoopsie. Oh, I'll need to figure that out. Abstract Performances in there. Yeah, regardless, we'll find it. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't know whether or not to do another deck tech stream right now, or just call it a very, very long Teval deck tech stream. Yeah, but this has been requested on our Discord, which, if you guys aren't part of Discord, it's in the description of this video. So I figured I'd just make a whole freaking just do a whole thing on it. I try to make these foil as many times as I can for this reason. Because for whatever reason, it's kind of hard to... that should be 11. I'll figure that out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll link the deck in here. But thank you everyone for joining. Again, we have a Discord. It is a freaking awesome Discord. We have a really great YouTube channel. It's mostly pre-con upgrade stuff, but when a full set is released, and I talked about this in the Discord, when a full set's released, I'm going to have a live stream going over the entire set. And it could be everything. It could be, I'm gonna have a section about draft talk. I'm gonna have a section about my decks, what I'm personally looking, and I'm gonna have a section that's just what I think the best cards in the set are for Commander. I don't really care about Standard. Actually, I haven't in a long time. Modern is ruined. So yeah. Anyway, thank you everybody. I like to thank everybody. Wisp, Jelly Valley, Titan, Meredith, Kira, Aphasia, Alex, as always, being lovely and monitoring. Yeah, this was freaking awesome, guys. This was a really good first test on a Deck Tech live stream, which kind of nerve-wracking on my end, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's like a lot of pressure. So, like, could you imagine if I like messed up those lines, or like I was not, or if I just like wasn't winning on turn 5 or 6, but we got there very consistently. Anyway, thank you all. Hope you all have a very lovely Saturday. We stream every Saturday. Normally it's EDH with the community, but we had a few people call out last minute, so that's the birth of this. So if I can't get enough people for an EDH live stream on TTS, I'll just go over one of my decks, do a deck tech on it on a live stream where you guys can interact and ask questions, and we'll have it on the YouTube channel forever. I don't know. Bye, guys. I didn't hit stop stream.